My name is Sven Ubik. I work for CESNET, and I have a presentation for you about our hardware for low latency transmissions with JPEG XS video compression. If you attended some of the previous NPAP workshops, you know that we have been developing low latency hardware for a couple of years. We also helped organize some distributed performances using this hardware, and my talk will be about the latest stage of this technology. I think that the main technical requirements for successful network performance are: first, you need a low latency video and audio connection so that musicians can collaborate as comfortably as possible. Second, if there is audience, it is very important to have very good video quality from the remote location or multiple locations, and preferably from multiple cameras as in regular TV production, because it would be boring to look at one camera view for 1 hour concert. And finally, it's important to have a proper blend of local and remote audio and video so that both artists and audience have the feeling of one joint performance. And this includes that the sound of remote instruments should be the same as if the instruments were played locally, which often requires careful placement of microphones and loudspeakers to prevent feedback. We use a programmable hardware technique. It means that we write code, but this code is not run on a processor in a PC, but the code is a description how elementary electronic components like logical gates and pieces of memory are organized together to create functionality of some device. And in our case, the device is low latency video and audio transmission platform. This code is downloaded to Field Programmable Gate Array, or FPGA, and the advantage of this approach is that we create a true real-time system. Therefore, any processing has very low and constant latency. Then it is also high energy efficient when compared to PC with regular CPU. So the device can be small, and with passive cooling, that is, it's completely quiet. And the FPGA can be on some universal board or on a custom design board. We design a custom board which allows us to integrate all functionality, all video and audio inputs and outputs on one board, and then the device is very easy to set up and use. Video compression formats can be divided into intraframe, which compress each frame individually, and those that look at some similarity between frames. Of course, this allows for much higher compression ratio, but at the expense of latency of several frames. Therefore, we have been always working with intraframe compression schemes. There has been some development in this area. It started in 1992 with publication of JPEG format. A significant improvement in image quality was provided by JPEG 2000. which is based on wavelet transformation. However, most implementations of JPEG 2000 require latency of 2 to 3 frames for encoding and decoding. A major step towards lower latency was the Tyco compression, which allows compressing and decompressing under 1 millisecond delay. However, at the expense of higher bitrate than JPEG 2000, you need typically 2 bits per pixel. And the latest development is a JPEG XS format, which can compress and decompress images as fast as Tyco, but reduces bitrate 3 to 4 times, almost to the level of JPEG and JPEG 2000. We have 2 devices, one for HD video and one for 4K or 8K video. Both can transmit audio and video under 3 milliseconds edit latency, which includes buffering in the receiver. And they are easy to set up and use using either buttons on the front panel, so that you don't need any PC, or you can connect from any device, such as your mobile phone, to the built-in web interface inside. A typical setup looks like this. You just connect your camera or a video switcher with multiple cameras, your audio mixer, and your TV or projector, typically using simple SDI to HDMI adapter. And that's it. We use SDI or HDMI cameras instead of USB cameras. We decided for this technology because SDI cameras have much better video quality when compared to USB cameras, and there are hundreds of types on the market you can choose from. And there are already several SDI cameras with latency as small as 4 milliseconds between the scene and the video output from the camera. And such fast cameras are available in different resolutions and different prices, of course. Another advantage of SDI cameras is that you can connect them over long cables up to 100 meters, which is great for installation in a concert hall, and they can be easily switched live between multiple cameras. The quality of images after compression and decompression can be evaluated by various metrics. One of popular metrics is structural similarity. And if we compare JPEG 2000, Tyco, and JPEG XS, the Tyco needs higher bitrate, therefore there are missing values for low number of bits per pixel. But JPEG XS provides comparable video quality to JPEG 2000, starting from about 1 bit per pixel, and at much lower latency. These diagrams show example measurements of audio and video latency of 2 devices connected back to back. When audio buffer was set to 32 samples and video buffer to 20 packets. These are about the lowest values which you can use when you have a good network, such as over Géant network. And the latency of audio was 2.5 milliseconds and of video 3 milliseconds. we found that we had some video dropouts even when packet counters showed that there was no packet drop. And it turned out there was packet reordering. And to tackle this problem, we developed a firmware module for the receiver which can order packets in the correct order while keeping latency as small as possible given the extent of reordering. So the summary is that the technology now provides two versions. One is for HD video and the other for 4K or 8K video, both with JPEG XS compression, transmitting audio and video under 3 milliseconds. It works with high quality SDI cameras, which are available in very low latency, up to 4 milliseconds, up to 4K resolution. It's simple to install and use. Just a passive box without anything moving inside, so it's completely quiet. And the cost is comparable to a good PC configuration. It has been used for distance collaboration in many countries, in performing arts, and also in other areas, such as for surgery transmissions. And I have a short example recording for you from a concert that we helped organize this July. It was a concert on the occasion of rotating Czech presidency in the EU Council, which started on the 1st of July. And it connected artists and audiences in two academies, in Prague in Czech Republic and in Leuven in Belgium. There were 15 cameras that were switched live because it was also streamed by a Czech television. 6 cameras were ultra low latency. We used them for details, and the remaining cameras were a bit slower. We used them for more distant views. The total latency was 12 milliseconds, which was 9 milliseconds network and 3 milliseconds streaming device. Okay, I will try to switch to a short recording from that concert. Okay, so that was a short recording from the concert. And we will have a live demonstration for you on Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock, when we will use this technology to connect two musicians, violoncellist Petr Nouzovský in Prague and pianist Irina Zaharenkova here in Tallinn. They will be connected by the MVTP hardware with JPEG XS compression and playing live for you. And that's it. So thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, I will try to answer.
So, hello Sven, thank you for a wonderful presentation. I'm Dennis from Lithuanian Academy of Music and Theatre. Just a small question. Which of the production cameras you found has the lowest latency via SDI?
I'm sorry, there's great echoes. Can you repeat the lowest
production camera that you found has the lowest latency in SDI?
Okay. The three cameras that I showed on this picture have about the same latency, about 4 milliseconds. The most expensive is a Blackmagic Ursa, but it's already a very good camera, 4K 60p. Less expensive is Blackmagic Micro Studio camera, up to 4K 30p. And the least expensive is Korean camera Celeray Works, which is HD only, but it has very good picture quality also. So all of them, according to our measurements, it's about 4 milliseconds. So the difference is just between formats that they support and functions that they include, and depending on your budget.
I might comment on that just a tiny bit. So basically, if you will use LoLa or MVTP, then all of those will perform similarly in terms of end-to-end latency, because the only latency added will be just those 4 milliseconds, and then LoLa and MVTP can work in this different mode than this frame-based mode. As UltraGrid works in a frame-based mode, then you would need to use the most expensive one. Or this Celeray Works one, as both provide 60 frames per second, whereas the middle one just 30, which is twice as much latency, of course, in a frame-based mode. Yep, Jill. Sven would probably do that. I personally, I'm using this Blackmagic Micro Studio for some project, but not necessarily the lowest latency one. So Sven, please.
You better look it up on the internet, but I think that Celeray Works is somewhat under 1,000 euro, and Blackmagic Micro Studio is somewhat above 1,000 euro. And the Blackmagic Ursa is about 4,000 euro. That's already expensive camera.
One more question. What is the price for MVTP devices? Pricing?
Well, the HD version is €4,900, and the 4K or 8K version that's is starting now and yet to be determined.
Thank you.
The second device, we have both of them physically here, so you can see that. That will be just a bit bigger box with 4 12G SDI inputs and 4 12G SDI outputs, which can transmit up to 8K 60p. But at the moment, we have just 4K firmware inside. So this is the back of the device, and the FPGA is large enough to hold 8K design, but at the moment it's 4K. And there are 8 audio analog inputs and outputs that accept symmetrical jacks and Ethernet connector. And that's it. You don't need any PC or PC cards or anything. That's everything in one box.
Hi Sven. Had the musicians used, had they played remotely before, or was this the first time?
You mean this concert?
Yes.
There were many concerts that we helped organize using this technology, but of course every time we try something more advanced and challenging. So this was probably the highest number of cameras used at the same time in one concert.
But the musicians taking part, the musicians playing in the concert, had they played remotely before? Had they played with somebody who wasn't in the same country before, or was that the first time?
When I think about them, no, I think that they all tried it for the first time.
And how did they rehearse in advance? How many rehearsals did they have in advance of?
Yes, they rehearsed, and because they had a hard time to find one time when all were available, so they had to split it into several rehearsals in parts.
And what was their reaction? Would they play remotely again? Would they do it again? Did they enjoy playing with somebody in another country? Was it difficult for them, or did they enjoy it?
We hoped yes. We didn't receive any complaints. The latency was small enough for comfortable communication.
Great, thank you.
Hi, Egil from the Norwegian Endren Sikt. Is this new MVTP compatible with earlier versions, like the Tico 4K, or is it very different hardware?
You can download JPEG XS or Tyco firmware into the same hardware, but they can't communicate together. You need 2 Tyco boxes or 2 JPEG XS boxes because it's different compression protocol. Okay. But you can take a previously Tyco box and do just a firmware upgrade and you have a JPEG XS box.
Okay, thank you.
It's usually like 2 times a year because we try to co-located this concert with some event. So it's usually takes some time to prepare the event.